back to another Mobile Sunshine. I'm back again on the Long Island serial murder and unsolved of murdering documents, and I'm just back here today to go from where we left off was with Shannon, and I just thought we'd just crack on. And excuse me sitting down on the floor where I hope you can see me. So what we left off last time was that Heuermann had buildings, units listed in his company's name where victims were found. Stevie, I think, there was Christine Belusco, and in 1991, and I wasn't sure about that one, but definitely Megan, the girl MacDonald, was it Megan MacDonald? I could definitely feel that, because he has a number and everything. It's just so strange. Harvey Rothenberger's the company. This is Shannon Gilbert. She went missing in 2010. Was found in 2011 at the back of Dr. Hackett's house. Now, I think it was about 30 yards away. The marsh was very, very big at the time, and on looking for Shannon, they discovered 11 more bodies, and this is what led to the conviction of Rex Heuermann. He's been charged with 7, but it all started with Shannon. I'm still in two minds if Heuermann is a murder for hire type of guy, right? Who really enjoys the sport, likes to hunt these guys, or there's a group of them. I've thought things like that, but then again, I've ruled out in my own mind now that Shannon wasn't anything to do with that day, I don't think. But we'll talk about it again. People do still believe that Shannon was one of the victims of Heuermann, but I'm not convinced really. Shannon Gilbert disappeared on May 1st, 2010 in Oak Beach, Long Island, in Ocean Parkway, Babylon, New York. She was driven from Manhattan to Oak Beach home for a man named Joe Brewer to visit his home. She was hired as an escort, but in the end, I don't know what happened, but Shannon called 911. 911 was on the phone for 40 minutes with her, but they didn't get Shannon, and then Shannon went missing and then was found dead. What I find really strange about this case is that she died in the marsh, and they say drowning, but then this type of marsh I've looked at isn't that type of marsh, that you have in Texas and places like that, or you have a lot on the coast in England, so Shannon unfortunately has lost, and also her sister is in prison for murdering her mother. So it's a tragic case all round. Mary Gilbert was protesting for Shannon. I don't watch any TV, so people have asked me if I watched the programs on it, and no, I haven't, because I don't get time to watch TV. The subject, that's what they're saying here. Shannon Gilbert date of birth was the 10th of the 24th, 86. She was 5'5", 130 pounds, light brown hair and brown eyes, small scar under her right eye. So she was very distinctive, and a cherry tattoo on her wrist and a scorpion tattoo on her back. Clothing, jeans, white blouse ruffled and black shoes. Last seen the 1st of May in 2010. She went to Oak Beach Island to visit Jason Brewer, and at the time she went missing, Mary Gilbert got a call from Dr. Hackett saying to her that he was treating Shannon and she was in a home for wayward girls, and later found that he was completely making this stuff up. But or was he? I don't know. I really don't. Still don't know about that. Shannon Gilbert is listed in her missing persons reports as having a cherry and scorpion tattoo, as proven here as Michael Pack. And how did Michael Pack know after once, On July 5th, 2007, and he failed the lie detector test, Shannon Gilbert was arrested as part of a sting, and I think it's to do with this, by cops to target their type of work. Busted 7 of the working women, right, in the sting, and Shannon was one of them. I'll go through that because I don't want to name people there. Shannon Gilbert was on an escort agency site. I wouldn't go through all that, but there was some information that was very interesting in this, and it gave indications of what could have happened to Shannon. And I'm just going to read out. Okay. Shannon was 21, of Upper Saddle River, Arlen Agler, 33, of Brooklyn, and some of the other girls of Union City were arrested and charged for engaging in that type of work. Upper Saddle River Police Chief Fanning was saying. Also charged was Rance Defana, 38, of Jersey City, Eric Bolster, of 41. And these names would be interesting for me to look up, and that's not what I expected. Is it a slang name or something? It's not coming up with anything at all. No such name. See, sometimes you have to look things up. Well, sometimes they're absolute but don't go to the beginning, please. You pain in the arse. What's this? Oh, okay, sorry. So that name never brought anything up. Now, it seems a little bit made up, that name. Well, these party girls. They were out-call girls, you know. That's the best way of describing them, actually. It's got to be a story behind this story, one comment says. Why would these cops start calling these services involved a 21-year-old from Saddle River? Anyway, the irony is, when they usually bust these services, they say it was to bring calling the element to the hotel. Hope the PDs don't get the idea of escorting into their jurisdiction for some. I don't know what's that. See, cuts out. Got to be a story behind this. Oh, sorry, yeah, it says it properly here. They were operating out of a hotel, which is interesting because you know, she could have met Heuermann in a hotel, Shannon. I don't know what that cycle means. It means nothing to me. I mean, he's suspicious as hell as well. I mean, if you want to get rid of someone and they're contesting against you like she was forced to, that makes sense to her death in that way. Trafficking comes in all kinds of dark corners of the world, you know. You know, we won't know these type of people, but you know, girls are around these people. These people are running these joints, running these hotels. He was running a high price one in Jersey City. He was arrested for it, and he used to offer his friends up to, you know, Charlie, and then, you know, charged up to 3,500 an hour. And I mean, the business took 250 per month before it was shut down. The investigation into Ruiz was triggered 6 months ago by information provided by Hoboken Police. Ads for escort agencies Shannon is known to have been associated with October 7, 2003. You know, I suppose all types of stuff, isn't it? And now a bit more about Joseph Ruiz. A Jersey City Heights man pleaded guilty yesterday to laundering more than $3 million in a year that he made providing a big spenders with, call girls and the bad habits. Officials said yesterday Joseph Roos, 44, operated world-class call girls and faces up to 7 years in prison when he is sentenced on September 17th, said Hudson. His bail's at $500. He later received a tip that led to the investigators dismantling the escort agency. Hudson County prosecutors say 44-year-old Joseph Roos from Jersey City made the money through the sex work and by sometimes providing illegal supplements. He faces up to 7 years in prison when he's sentenced in September 17th. Prosecutors say authorities seized several £100,000 from bank accounts associated with world-class party girls service, which charge customer rates ranging from $500 to $300 to $3,500 per hour. Investigators found credit card bills as high as 20 grand for one session. Wow, when more than one girl and supplements would be involved. And they say some customers had tab of £100,000. Wow. So, if places like that exist, I mean, what can you get for 20 grand in a month? I don't know. It's crazy. It's basically murder for a price. You got that money, not just through the cold girls. You got money through some other means. And the rest of it was hidden, I reckon. Excuse me, just be a second. Yes. And I do like doing this case. I do try and give a bit. And I know it's not very polished what I do. But I am trying to get the information to become polished. It's not a necessary thing to me. I know people would really prefer that, and I admit I've been told that by people that I should write things down more, should be more organised when I do this, and I admit you're right, I really should be, and speaking up more and get myself a microphone, because people can't hear me, they think I'm mumbling, and I'm trying to shout my voice, but I have got a really low voice anyway, but this man was earning $3 million a year. Now, you're telling me he just earned that off pussy, you know what I mean? And supplements. Prosecutors said authorities seized several $100,000 from the bank accounts associated. Sort of what this word press does as well, it just reiterates things, gives proof. See, it doesn't just give me one document, it gives me a few documents, and I've got to be honest, this is Michael Pack didn't pass the lie detector test either, and I find it very shifty how Shannon passed. Michael Pack, Shannon's driver, had previously been convicted of human trafficking charge, conspiracy to misuse the passport. Shannon Gilbert can be heard accusing Michael Pack of plotting to kill her on the 911. I also heard him say, it's for fun, you know. Someone picked up on it and I was made up with that, you know, because put it in the comments. But it's a haunting call, because it's the last thing she does, and nobody hears from Shannon after that. This is part of Pack's deposition. I've noticed Pack told 48 Hours he had nothing to do with Shannon's disappearance and claimed he passed the polygraph with flying colours. Police wouldn't confirm or deny. Well, they won't, will they? Because he didn't pass. Gotta look through all the documents for that. That he didn't pass the lie detector test. It's not even like sorted out still. The court case is still not sorted out. Joe Brewer hired Shannon Gilbert to come to his house in the gated community of Oak Beach, New York, Long Island. Along Ocean Parkway in the middle of the night. Right, look at this home. You know, imagine. This is where it gets, you know, more particular. You know, gives you a real good view. This map, doesn't it? You know, there's Joseph Brewer's home. Oh wow. There's Ocean Parkway. There's Joseph Brewer's home. There's the fairway there. And I think she ran that way. I don't know where that way leads to, see. Was Heuermann there at the time? Was Michael Pack there at the time? We're all three of them in it together. It's one of those mysteries now, but I really am convinced something happened to Shannon. Joe Brewer then told police, Michael Pack, that he and Shannon were going to get something, and Shannon Gilbert left Brewer's home with Brewer in his vehicle. It's when she come back, things changed, and I don't know what happened. Felt like the call was like, it was sort of like cocky because they just didn't care. Joseph Brewer accused her of being a transvestite because she kept going on about being have you been with a woman or a man or something like that to him, so he thought instantly she was transvestite as well. So it went into a sort of crazy moment. She ran out the house, according to him, right? So she's on the phone to the police the next thing you know, and she's saying they're going to kill her, and she, you know, why she keeps asking, and she doesn't want to leave the house, which is strange because if someone's going to kill you, you want to get away from them, don't you? But what was outside? I don't think Brewer had anything to do with it. I'm not sure though. So in the end he just had a bit of snuff with her. Something's happened. is the person who she met that night, knows to get it off. Someone accused him of being the Long Island serial killer. The one who give Shannon something that night. Very strange thing to say, isn't it, on Twitter? Harry Feingold was an Oak Beach resident who was sent to prison for selling cocaine. He was from West Islip, like Joseph Brewer, and Brewer's friend publicly suggested Harry Feingold was the Long Island serial killer in January 2011. It was all in the family. Harry Feingold led the drug ring that the police said supplied thousands of customers. He did this with his family's help. A little bit of a cartel connection, but there's quite a few that live in Oak Beach. He lived in Savannah Walk on Oak Beach in New York, but sold the property prior to 2010. Murdering suspect Feingold was in the area of Oak Beach or Islip, where Feingold and Brewer were from, on the morning of May 1st, 2010. That's a really... you see, you wouldn't believe there would be houses in that little plot of land, would you? You know? You wouldn't think it. There's Joseph Brewer's house there, I think. And possibly might be in where Shannon was found. I don't know. Really don't. Harry Feingold not only lived in Oak Beach, but he knew Joseph Brewer from West Islip. Harry's brother Mark Feingold owned the bar next to Brewer family liquor store. Someone says here on the 2017, I just finished rereading an April 23rd, 1986 Newsday article. It is a follow-up story of a major drug arrest that was reported on February 9th of 86. But the April story is not about the following up of the characters in February's story. It is about how the investigation changed from apparently a successful narcotics case to a case of corruption of the SCPD and the DA. A principal actor in those stories is one Harry Feingold, as told you in earlier posts. It was Harry that bought the house in Oak Beach in 2000 for $225,000. I wonder if it's the same house that was empty that reported that Shannon was staying in. A four year later, sold to another person for 2/3 more. Commonly used sites for estimated value recently. Advertised houses put on the value. I don't know why it keeps going on like that. Okay, Feingold sold his house in Oak Beach. It's possibly a money laundering scheme, it says. Now to filter his money out. I found very interesting about the above stories is they started off with a bank and ended up with a mystery. You have Feingold and a family arrested by Suffolk DA office. That was then led by Ray Perini. This was supposed to be a good thing. It turned into a fiasco. After the apparent successful arrest and conviction of Feingold family and another 30 individuals, one would think it was great work for the SCPD and DA, but it appears in the end it didn't. What appears to have happened is the Fed stepped looking for corruption on the part of the DA and the PD. If my information is correct, the Feds took over the SCPD and DA and put Harry in a federal prison. This may have been the beginning of the call investigation that Perini pretty much has led as a leading character in 197 pages document. He has an occupation as a movie producer. He is involved with adult movies. He has a lot of his newfound business in internet showing off his stable of girls, including Russian brides in 2000. Bobby in finance transactions that look highly suspicious. The thing is, Bobby and Steve appear to do is to list the new houses as an address where you can send checks to friends of Steve Bologna. All roads lead back to Suffolk County corruption politics. I recognise this guy. I don't know who he is though. Steve Bologna and Robert Streakoff used the home for headquarters for Bologna's campaign of Friends of Steve Bologna in Oak Beach. Friends of Steve Bologna, Oak Beach, New York. Suffolk County Attorney Dennis Cohn, who conspired with the SCPD to illegally violate the Freedom of Information Act, according to this, and refused to release documents identifying the Manorville Jane Doe 2 for 10 years to obstruct Murder, Inc. from solving the Gilbert case. All grew up in Babylon, near Amber Costello, where Amber Costello lived. Wow. Okay. Feels like they use these women for sport. I don't know why it always comes to my mind. I'm just going in the bathroom. I'm really always thinking that way when I read about it, you know. I mean, because of the problems with the police and the different counties and the different problems there, it's saying even here as well, like the problems they had, you know, trying to relate to getting this and getting Heuermann to go to one court because they were trying to go splitting it up everywhere. Steve Baloney appointed Suffolk County Police Chief James Beck. There you go. Beck, 57-year-old disgraced former Suffolk County Police Chief who lives in Smithtown. He went to Smithtown High Street School. Oh, it doesn't want to play it. Ex-Suffolk officer Burke ordered officers to spy on Executive Baloney. There were some bombshells dropped Thursday in the obstruction of justice trial of former Suffolk District Attorney Tom Spotter and his top aide Christopher Mark Portland. Police Chief James Beck ran criminal Suffolk County Police Department Gilbert Beach murders investigation. James Beck went to prison for the cover-up with the DA Tom Spotter. James Beck was accused of SA, a woman at a S party for politicians and police officers at a home next door to Harry Fangold, friends of Steve Baloney's house in Oak Beach. So do you understand what that means? So I'll say it again. James Beck was accused of SA, a woman in an S party for politicians and police officers at a home next door to Harry Fangold, friends of Steve Baloney's house in Oak Beach. Former escort claims disgraced ex-Long Island Police Chief James Beck forced her into committing sex acts. Carmen Vargas vanished after getting into a dark truck outside her apartment building with an unknown white male in glasses in August of '89. That could be Heuermann. Former escort has alleged disgraced ex-Suffolk County Police Chief who botched Gilbert Beach murder probe once forced her to perform on him while she had substances at a party near the scene of the killing spree, and then tossed money at her later. The woman, only identified as Leanne, opened up about her degraded in 2011 encounter with James Beck in Sunday Daily Mail interview, several years after she went public with the allegations she'd had a rough time with him. Leanne also said she was 25 at the time and claims she alleged the ordeal unfolded at a home of an exclusive Oak Beach community in Long Island back in August of 2011. Just months before, he was appointed Suffolk County top cop. She said Beck, who she recalled as being pompous and arrogant and ignorant, had been flirting with her and making small talk about one of his vacations. In the lead up, we went to the bathroom and he tried to make me do things. I felt like I had to do it. Ex-escort, yeah. He also there's other things. At the time of her encounter with Berg, she was putting herself through college and eventually graduated with a degree in forensic psychology and criminology. But her addiction caused her to spiral, and she started getting arrested for litany of assault and harassment. I got arrested and actually got convicted on a bunch of things, and when you have a conviction, you're not going to be able to be using that degree, really. I think that's down to him now. She said the night with Berg was also her foray into high stakes world of fast money, working as a paid escort. It was probably my first experience being paid, Leanne said, now 37. I was not expecting that, and it opened the door for that kind of stuff. In 2019, she was on her track. She got out of the business and got sober. Though she would not reveal what industry she is working in today, she said that she manages a team of people and that it is happy and in a much better place. She also said that her tryst with Berg on that summer night of 2011 was the one and only time she would see or speak with him again. Excuse me while I get my coffee. Crazy how incestuous this case is. Everyone knows each other in some way. It's strange, it just really is. Such a pretty place. Wow. Just now making my cigarettes. I've tried to stop smoking a few times now, but I don't really get far, and I haven't been painting much lately, but I've done loads that I need to do, so it's just a matter of me getting good paint. Acrylic at the minute. Good acrylics are hard to get. I don't know what that's about. I know what to do by it either, to thicken it up a bit, because it's no good. I'll have to paint in oil. It's just too thin. Everything about it it's changed. Whatever's in the acrylic you paint with now, it's not the same, I'm trying to teach my daughter not to write with a pen in a wrong way, and she's 9 now, and I just went to a school there and she's doing it properly, but it's sort of like she's got bad handwriting as well as doing that, so it's sort of like getting on her nerves sort of thing, but she's a smart girl, I never noticed at all, right, that the teacher was letting her in her last school hold a pen like that. It was disgusting. So she's back to sort of square one on learning that, but we've got to practice a bit of that tonight, so I thought I'd do this with you today and hopefully get another one out for us tomorrow. So I'll be doing this tomorrow as well, following up. This is Leanne on Escort. Tells reports about ex-Suffolk police chief Burke hired her in 2011 during a drug-fueled Oak Beach house party with John Ray, not at the party, that's who's sitting with her there. He's her attorney. He is Shannon Gilbert's, I believe. Her estate. No, but what's happening there? She has one sister. The poor lady's probably not really interested in the estate, you know. But getting the truth is a matter of time, and we will get the truth. A brunette woman held a news conference to discuss the allegations along Miller Place based on attorney what John Ray said about the family and her disappearance in the community of May 2010. See, there wasn't any bodies then. I don't know. I don't remember if anything was found at that point. But about a year later, they went out there and were looking around. Or in that winter, I think it was, they were looking around for Shannon and discovered 11 bodies in total. In the end, it took about a year to find Shannon too, which is really sad. When people knew all along where she was, I feel. Someone did that. It just made it look like it wasn't a murder, which is really obvious. I mean, paying someone 20 grand, you're not just paying for fluff. You know what I mean? Fluff. And it's hell I haven't for a while, can't you? Anyway. See, so I have to speed read sometimes because as words in it I shouldn't say. It is the first time that a direct connection between Berg, the sex worker, and Oak Beach has been made, said John Ray, who represents the Gilbert family in a lawsuit against Dr. Hackett, a former Oak Beach resident and ex-police surgeon that the family has accused of causing Gilbert's death. This is a significant connection, he says. It certainly puts Burke right at the centre of the pool of suspects for the death of Shannon. And the other woman, he continued. Burke was sentenced last month to 46 months in federal prison after he pleaded guilty for beating Christopher Loeb, a handcuffed suspect that stole his gym bag containing his gun, his S-toys and his porn from the ex-chief's SUV and ordering subordinates to cover up the station house assault. Burke was documented to have had patronised S-workers, the press has reported. After the ex-chief was indicted, federal prosecutor James McCloskey, said December that Burke's porn collection was his motivation. For doing that. Looks quite thin there, doesn't he? In August 2023, he was found in around 10:15 a.m. in the morning. Burke was arrested by Suffolk County Park Rangers at Vietnam Memorial Park in Farmingville. Burke, 58, of Smithtown, was taken into custody, brought to the 6th Precinct for processing. He was charged with authoring an S Act, indecent exposure and lewdness, and solicitation in the 5th degree. He was charged with offering S Acts, indecent exposure, ex-cop and serial slay suspect. See, he got arrested around the same time, didn't he? You know, if you think back, where's that connection coming and why? What's going on Oak Beach? There's something going on. Yeah, I'll always be puzzled about this case. There's just so many unanswered questions. Just too many, you know. I mean, there's a very strong link, I feel. I think they arrested him and put a silly charge, a Mickey Mouse charge like that, but I reckon he's connected to this in some way now. Because it's just the dates. He should be arrested for wasting time. They deceptively cut out 30 seconds of the call as well, in an attempt to fool the public. Their scheme worked for 2 years until Phil and Heather from Long Island discovered the voice of the second woman on the tape. You better hide too. You can go and listen to that. It's on here. Just look up Shannon Gilbert's 911 call. It should come up on YouTube. We've played it before, and I'm gonna do more of a cut down of these things and put it up into a little documentary again. You know, now I've sorted myself out with a phone. I'll be honest, I do have a phone, but for some reason I got the wrong type, and I thought all did screen recording. I don't know. I mean, I was just totally stupid. I didn't think, and bought the wrong one. So I downloaded loads of apps now, you know, to help with that. So it should be alright now. No, you can only record on CapCut for like 15 minutes, and then you got to go out of it. But I'll find something to, you know, so I can connect it all for a longer documentary. Because this will take more than 15 minutes to explain. I don't know how. I can't watch some of the Heuermann stuff because there's so many fingers pointing and things like that, but on this it's quite straight to the point. It shows us the reference, it shows us where Heuermann is, it shows us where his buildings were getting built, it's showing us where the people who were selling the substances were, and also the connections with the higher ups in Long Island. And which is quite fascinating, really, but very, very you've got to try and keep as objective as possible, because it's not possible he killed everyone in Long Island. It's just not, on his own. I don't feel he killed all them on his own. Yeah, I think it was something. It's a total trust thing, to trust someone knowing that you're disturbed. Alan Placker, another one who hid crimes of SA, of priests, children's testimonies and things like that. It looks very lonely, but it's probably beautiful in the summer. Loads of bush and everything. Oh, hang on. Oak Beach residents and alleged SA abuse ringleader and fixer for the Catholic Church, Alan Packer, shows us an address at 1 block off Oak Beach residence. Harry Feingold's cocaine, and and it's around the corner from his studio as well, Feingold studio, where Packer works too. Feingold's address in Manhattan. Packer's residence in Battery Park City. Approximately between Harry Feingold and Alan Packer's residence. The proximity there. So, you know, small world. Alan Packer is accused of running a child abuse ring and orchestrating a cover-up of a child abuse ring for the Catholic Church. Monsignor Packer has been distinguished by the Pope himself. He is best friends with and is Ruby Giuliani's lawyer. Misconduct concerns of Alan Placker. You see, this is connecting now kind of Heuermann into the picture, do you understand me? So it's good. If you've been following me, high five, put it there, we're here, we're finally here. I've done really well today. I've only had one of my tablets rather than two. I'm trying to taper myself a little bit because I'm finding that my medication isn't working, you know, sort of thing. Yeah, Alan Placker's a case that I haven't covered as much, and been covering Kenneth Heuermann, who was a priest who was accused of the same thing, and a relative of Rex Heuermann. For some odd reason, nobody subscribes to me, nobody likes me, but everybody loves Nathan. But the thing is, you know, if you read anything on Twitter, you would know that Nathan isn't all what he seems. And that's a shame. Shame indeed. But you know what? I'm not going to stand there for people who look up stuff like he does and then advocates for this type of stuff. That's the thing, you see. Yeah, I might have done things in my past and stuff like that I'm not proud of, but I'm dedicated to this. You know what I mean? I don't have any ads. I don't have anything. I'll be honest, right? I could really push it, and like do like a video a month like that. But you know what satisfies me? I've gone through all this. I've read it all already, you know. But it's good to refresh and for the new people here to go through it again, you know, because a lot of corruption goes on in New York, and panning it all on Heuermann isn't the answer. It's not. The solution is to stop people going on these disturbing sites, not adding to it. And what you do in your private life is one thing, but when you're an advocate, right, I dare not, right, go on S sites and all that, porno and all that, right? Nothing wrong with it. You're telling me there's nothing wrong with it? There is. It's stagnating our society. It's making us not have children, get married and things like that. It's ruining society. It's ruining marriages. It's ruining the marriage of the person who's doing that account. If that's true, that will ruin a marriage. You know, I'm hoping that none of it is true, but to block me like that is saying 1,000 things to me. It really is. You know, I'm very sceptical. You know, people have made a couch call him a pervert. You know, this is Nathan Adams I'm talking about. You know, nobody's mentioned anything to me. I've been talking to him for ages and nobody mentioned a shitting thing. And I find that really strange, that I'm that out of touch. I didn't know. I had no idea. But the haranguing I get, the mental torture I get from people just because, right, I like to do this, because I know this case is deeper than Heuermann. I know it's deeper, it's wrong, okay? Yeah, we all go and have fantasies and stuff like that, but what I'm talking about here isn't beyond. I'm talking about gore, okay? And child abuse. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's been accusated as well. When a creator is not all what they seem, they're not putting their face out there and all that, but they're on things like, yeah, you know, porn up and cheating on the wife like that, and I'm not condoning it. Especially the stuff like he was looking up. I've got no friends on here. I've realised no one's friendly, no one's nice, no one's worth my damn time, so I just get on with this and just do it because I enjoy the law of it, right? Because there's so much to this story that Nathan hasn't touched on. Okay, and if anybody says differently, well, they've got to read into it, haven't they, to find out that he hasn't. You know, this isn't a straightforward case. I don't know if Bitroff is innocent or not. I don't feel he is. You know, Alan Placker and all the priest connections and all that. It's wrong to talk about Heuermann without talking about the background of all this stuff. You know, it's alright speculating all day. Boring doing this though. Actual thinking, you know. Not suspecting it, actually clarifying. This clarifies a lot, and sometimes you know, there's so much connection here. Alan Parker worked on the same lot as Rex Heuermann's auntie, Sister Mary de Plaza Sosha or whatever in Hicksville, where he ran a Catholic Charities, an organisation Heuermann was heavily involved in New York City. So he likes vulnerable children too. The essay where true, Alan Placker was Director of Research and Development for the Catholic Charities, the Diocese of Rockville Center. In 1939, Florence Sochet entered the Sisters of Mercy convent in Societtes to become a nun. She took the name Sister Mary de Plaza Sosha and has had very long career as a teacher in Diocese of Rockville Center. Sister Mary, I'll just call her, has been a nun for over 84 years. Cheapers. Well done you, lady. Her nephew is alleged Long Island serial killer suspect. Rex Heuermann. Wow, okay. Wow. Another relative. An aunt. A nun. An auntie who's a nun. You know, there's so much connection to the church. It's scary. There she is. Bless that. Let's hope she was a good girl. I read, see, you can't judge the book by what he's done. You know, she could have been an absolute angel. You know, who knows? We'll find out anyway. Anyways, incorporated in 1994, founded by Rex Heuermann, his architecture company, a registered architect. RHC has extensive experience providing over 30 years of service dealing with New York City building code. The New York State code is different, you see, than in another area. A New York Department of Buildings and all major city agencies throughout the years. It's a good way of laundering money, isn't it? through the church. Throughout the years, Heuermann has provided services to other city agencies, not-for-profit agencies or builders, developers or individual owners of buildings in regard of ADA, new NYC and NY state codes, as well as some consultation work, expedition service and special inspections mandated by law. That's what he deals with. He has also successfully presented his clients to New York City landmark preservations commissioned numerous times. His clients include Catholic Charities, NYC, DEP, Sewage Treatment and American Airlines and other major tenants of JFK International Airport. He has an expert team with successful experience in all aspects of building regulations and best practices. Alan Placker worked on the same lot as Heuermann's aunt. Yeah. Is that him? Wow. He's very young there. Look at the way that girl's looking at him. Apparently he likes young boys though. There's some horrible stories about priests. Williston Park. When Chai Van Nguyen lived in Vietnam, he worked as a policeman, while his wife ran the family fruit and veg farm. Now Chai, 49, works long hard hours as a caretaker at the West Hills of Golf Club in West Williston. He has a large vegetable garden in the backyard of his house. He rents from St. Aidan's Parish at 42 Dover Street. But he cannot grow mangoes, bananas and other tropical fruit that flourishes in Vietnam. Life was much better in Vietnam. He didn't like it there. Did he go missing or something? Probably did. He's a refugee, you see. And they give shelter. And this is the thing about good people. Good people do the worst things. They do. Michael Hans was a priest who was convicted of abusing children and said Placker abused him when he was a child. He was found dead in his cell in what authorities called a suicide. And he bore silence from boys who had accused him of abuse, a disgraced priest claims in sworn statements. A Long Island priest abused a 13-year-old boy has charged that a church official pressured him a year ago to keep quiet about his own claims that he was found 2 decades ago by a prominent Monsignor, I don't know. priest, predator, I call him, said the official offered him some money to pay insurance, medical care and therapy. But then it was very important that I also gave him my silence. Michael Hans, ex-priest convicted of abusing a teen, dies in jail. Because he knew too much. So much corruption. I'm going to leave it there for now, guys, and I'll be back with more tomorrow. Take care. I love you. Bye.